Well, if you thought we'd taken a look at enough tablet stuff recently, you'd be right, and that's why we're taking a look at a two-in-one today. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So this right here is the Dell Inspiron Duo, and it was, I guess, Dell's answer to the original iPad. This thing came out in late 2010, and it's basically a run-of-the-mill netbook where they added some tablet capabilities and charged you $550 for it, which is pretty pricey, especially for the specifications that this thing has. It's got a dual-core Intel Atom processor clocked at 1.5 GHz, 2 gigs of RAM, and a 320 GB hard drive loaded with a copy of Windows 7 Home Premium, Microsoft Office 2010, which you can't use unless you buy it, and a 30-day trial of McAfee Security Center because they hate you. So yeah, the specifications are not really anything to write home about. In fact, if you were to look at Dell's other offerings from this time, you could pick up their Inspiron 15 with a bigger screen and a better processor on sale for $400. So that extra $150 you'd pay for this thing is pretty much all because of the fact that the screen flips around like this. Now, inside the box, you've got your pretty standard set of things that nobody really cares about. You've got all your documentation right here that we're definitely going to read through. And then we have your power adapter in here, of course, very standard inclusion. And then the laptop itself, and it looks like the battery cover just came off. That's cool. Let's just carefully pop that back on here, and I guess while we're down here, I can point out this little connector on the bottom. This is a docking connector for hooking it up to its JBL speaker dock. This was a separate accessory that cost about $100, and it could kind of turn this thing into a little media center. So you were meant to flip the screen around, connect it up, and then you could use this to play music, watch a movie, and get much better sound quality than these dinky speakers that are built in here. I found this one brand new in the box, never been opened before, so we will be cracking it open for the first time later, but I do want to take a look at the laptop itself, boot it up, and show you what special software comes on here for making use of that touchscreen. However, there is a little bit of a problem. Yeah, so that's super fun, isn't it? We're getting 5 beeps there, which I looked up on Dell's website. That corresponds to a bad CMOS battery. I initially thought it could have been due to not having any RAM installed, but it would only beep twice if that were the case. And unfortunately, this is not a really easy laptop to work on. Getting to practically everything requires you to remove a bunch of screws and disconnect the keyboard and pop off the top cover. But I can make my life a little bit easier by using the E2 Ultra Precision Electric Screwdriver from today's video sponsor, Fantic. Because it really makes taking apart and repairing stuff like this a lot more pleasant. It's got 5 torque settings indicated by this lovely light bar on the side, as well as a flashlight so you can use it in darker spaces. And then there's the 50 different screwdriver bits you get, along with ESD tweezers and a pry bar contained in this rotating magnetic bay. And all of it is housed in a beautiful aluminum case with a satisfying pop-up mechanism for easy access, and its 800 mAh battery is rechargeable through the USB-C port located right on top. It can be used for a variety of different projects. Whether it's an old laptop like this, or a smartphone or small appliance, it fits nicely in a toolbox to be ready whenever you need it. Plus, it's pretty popular. Fantic has won over 40 product design awards throughout the past few years, and right now you can pick up one of these for 44% off by clicking the Amazon link down below and using my code MJDE2Ultra at checkout. So be sure to give it a try, and huge thanks to Fantic for making this video possible. Alright, well, I've actually made a pretty important discovery. I was able to get this thing to post after doing a reset of the CMOS battery and the BIOS and everything. You do that by holding down the power button for 30 seconds and then unplugging power, plugging it back in, turning it on. And well, that actually worked, but I still wanted to go ahead and take this apart because I have a feeling that we'll have this same thing happen in the future at some point, so we are going to change out the CMOS battery. And I can also just show you the internals of this thing. So here here is where you access the RAM. You do have to take off all of this, like I said, so the entire front panel comes off. You got to remove a couple connections there, and then you know, the keyboard comes off of that first, and there's some more screws under here, and yeah, it's actually not as involving of a process as I initially thought. This was certainly easier than the iBook G3 clamshell that I took apart a couple years ago. That thing was ridiculous. So we are going to remove the CMOS battery here, and then we'll pop in this replacement one. This uses a CR2032 battery for anyone who's curious. And yeah, we'll see how much RAM we've got. We should just have that stock 2 gigabytes, I would imagine. So let's see. Yep, that is a 2 gigabyte Samsung stick, and yeah, we only have one stick of RAM in this thing. There's not any room for another one, so this is all we got. So we'll pop that back in. You have your hard drive right here. I guess I could swap this out with an SSD at this point, but I do want to, you know, see what's on this hard drive, because although I did boot it up like into the BIOS, I did not let it load all the way into whatever operating system is on here. I'm assuming it's Windows 7 because that's what the screenshot of this thing showed on the listing I bought it from, though it didn't show that the CMOS battery was dead. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and pop this back on, and yeah, it just snaps into place, and then we do need to connect these 3 connectors down here, and then we just have these 4 screws, and then comes the keyboard. And then once it's connected, you just pop it in from the bottom first, and then there we go. And now we just got to do the screws on the other side here. And last but not least, we put the little cover back on, and we're good to go. Alright, so we're here booted up in the BIOS, and you can see, of course, our system date is way off, so I'm going to change this to the current date, and we'll just leave the time at that. That's fine. But you can see, of course, all the specifications in here once again. And I guess we're just going to go over to exits, and we will save changes. By the way, I went ahead and plugged in a USB keyboard like I normally use for this setup, and I noticed just how limited that the port selection is on this computer, because all we have are 2 USB ports, an audio jack, and power. That's it. There's nothing on the other side, so they are really leaning in more towards the tablet side of things when it comes to how many ports are available on it. So we're just going to hit escape here, or rather exit out of the BIOS, and we got a Windows 7 boot screen, not terribly surprising. One thing that I read in a couple reviews on this thing from back when it came out is just that it's kind of a slow computer, because, I mean, as you saw from the hardware that we have in here, I mean, it is definitely not the most powerful thing in the world. I mean, it is a netbook, so that was one of the complaints, especially when it comes to the touch interface. For this first portion of the demo here, I am going to keep it in its laptop mode, and we'll kind of just explore and see what programs and everything we have installed. And then I will switch this over to the tablet mode so we can take a look at the touch interface, and we'll see what that's all about. It is just a custom UI loaded on top of Windows 7, from what I could tell from the photos and the video demonstrations I saw of this thing. But I'm curious if there's anything else on here. It looks like it's currently identifying the mouse driver, I would imagine. Yep, there we go. So we've got some HP printer stuff. We have Bookstage, Shop for Supplies for the HP printer, and then Cozy Family Calendar. We have a Dell icon pinned down here. This is the Duo Stage. I think this is the touch UI. Let's just go ahead and launch it here. Yeah. So you can get into this in the laptop mode, and you could just, you know, touch on the screen here to navigate around and stuff, obviously. But it is designed to be used when you've got the screen flipped around and the tablet closed. So it looks like they've got a suite of multimedia programs on here. Yeah, so here's like a music player, and yeah, I mean, you can kind of see already, like, I don't know if it's supposed to be that delayed, like, moving through. Oh, and it just switched to Windows 7 Basic. What? And there we go. Now we're back to Arrow. We got Skype on here with someone's Skype name auto-populated. Can't use this anymore since Skype has been shut down, but that is a, man, that is a sight to see for sure. Looks like we've got Norton Internet Security. I don't know if you want to call that an upgrade from McAfee or a downgrade. Maybe it's both. But yeah, so we got that. We have Word Starter 2010. That's the free version. So maybe they did have, because the box said, like, you needed a license. for the copy of Office. Like, it kind of sounded like they just had trial stuff put on here, but I know that Word Starter and Excel Starter were like free copies that, you know, you could get, and they were usually bundled with certain systems. So perhaps you did actually get a couple Office programs you could use for free. And it looks like it changed to the Windows 7 basic theme again for a second, and now it switched back to Arrow. It must be doing that like when the system is just using a lot of resources when it was launching the program there, and then it just switched back once it kind of calmed down. But yeah, I'm looking at the side of the box, and it does say Office 2010 preloaded, purchase product key to activate full featured Office software. Okay, so that probably meant that you got the starter programs and then you could pay to get the full suite. Yeah, Word 2010, there it is. I mean, it's Microsoft Word. What more is there to say? So also in here, we've got, what is this Cozy Family Calendar? Is this something that would have come on here? We're unable to connect to the Cozy web service. There may be a problem with your internet connection. Well, yeah, we're not online. Well, it is still around. This is just a shared calendar program. You can have, you know, like a family all share the same calendar to put stuff on. So perhaps this was used as like a family computer, you know, in like the kitchen or something, where everyone would go and add stuff to the calendar. Or maybe this was just somebody's system and they just had access to that shared calendar. We also have Duo Stage. That's the program we just launched for the tablet interface. We have Office, Photo Stage. I'm guessing all the Stage programs are a part of Duo Stage, so they're the tablet UI. We've got all your default Windows programs. We have Bluetooth Suite, Bluetooth devices, okay, and then just a Bluetooth devices folder there. We have Kane, with nothing in there. All of our Dell bloatware, which is DataSafe Online, Dell Stage again, Dell Webcam, and Dell Wireless. So yeah, they have a location and GPS utility. That's comforting. We have Webcam Central, HP. So this is all for that printer that they had installed. I guess it was a DeskJet. We have the Microsoft Touch Pack for Windows 7. This is actually a pack that I wanted to demonstrate. I got a video suggestion for this, I think, years ago, but I just did not have a Windows 7 tablet on hand to demonstrate it with. So we can definitely take a look at this a little bit later on once we swap over to the tablet mode. And then we have Norton. It looks like they did uninstall McAfee, so good on them. But yeah, putting Norton on here instead, not necessarily the best choice. Okay, so yeah, it looks like there are some family photos in here, some documents, maybe some essays or you know, school projects or whatever. So we're just going to close out of that because I don't want to just open all that stuff on a video here and invade these people's privacy. Definitely make sure to wipe your hard drives, people. But that is pretty much all of the stuff I want to show you here in desktop mode. So let's go ahead and flip this thing around, and we'll take a look at the tablet UI on it. Alright, so you might have been able to see at the very end of that last clip that as soon as you flip the screen around and close the lid, it will bring up the tablet interface here. So we have music, photo, video, books, internet, paint, and games. So let's go into music here. And this will, I'm assuming, yeah, load up that Music Stage application that we saw before. I am going to connect this thing to the network in a moment here because I saw, like, you know, there are a couple features that do seem to require you to be online, assuming that the servers are still up and they are still able to work. But yeah, so this is that same application we saw before. We could go through, this is one of the sample tracks here with Windows 7. So it's playing down there. I do have the volume muted, of course. And I think that is pretty much the entirety of this application. So you just go through, you would pick your music, play it, and then I guess it's more of a touch-friendly interface. Although, like, these controls down here are still kind of small and, you know, not the easiest thing to press with the touchscreen. But, I mean, it does work. And, yeah, so we can close out of that. And that's not closing, actually. That's just making the window smaller. There we go. And now we got to tap down here again to bring up the touch UI. So let's see what the photo thing is. Are all of these just going to launch separate programs? I guess none of this stuff is like contained within that touch UI. I was kind of hoping that we would have a little bit more of that. I guess they still wanted you to be able to use it with just a mouse and keyboard, But I mean, yeah, like this isn't super. I mean, you can use it and scroll down here, and well, we are like highlighting photos as we do that, so you can't really like, yeah, because you see I'm like selecting stuff, so you're not really meant to scroll down like that, I guess. But yeah, so you know, you got a bunch of sample photos here. We could highlight them. We could, I mean, see, like these are tiny little buttons up here. Like, I mean, you can press browse, but it took me a couple times there to do it. And yeah, so here's all your, you know, file browser. This is more of a touch-centric UI, at least. It's not like just the regular Windows file browser. And then you've got like Facebook and Flickr down there, I assume, for sharing. We can go back to photo stage here. And yeah, so it is just a photo viewer, and I guess you could do maybe some edits to it. Like, what does this do down here? Yeah, so you can rotate, crop it, you know, do all that kind of stuff. So that is the photo thing. And we'll go back in here and see what's next. Video. So I assume this will be just called what? Video stage? Yep, big surprise there. We probably don't have any videos on this system. Let's just go over to library here. Oh, we do have one. Okay, so we have a wildlife sample thing. So playing the video, we're actually doing pretty well, I think, on CPU usage. This is a 2-core, 4-thread CPU. You see the RAM, though, we are definitely using a fair amount of that, because again, we only got 2 gigs in here. But it is able to play it back all right, so that is nice. So we have books, internet, paint, and games. So paint, I'm hoping, is like just not regular Microsoft Paint. Books, I'm sure, is going to be another one of these. In fact, yeah, there it is right there, book stage on the desktop. So we're not connected to the web, so why don't we do that? All right, so we're online. Do you think this is actually going to work? Oh, okay, it just brings up Internet Explorer. Holy toolbars. So we got a Dell Bing toolbar and a Norton one there. That's fantastic. And whatever website it's trying to go to here can't be displayed. This digital locker. So is that just literally a shortcut to like a website where your, you know, digital library of these books would be? Maybe you could download them from there. Yeah, I just tried to go to this domain on my capture PC back here and it just said the server couldn't be found. But I looked up this name. This is like an e-reader application you could download for Windows. So maybe it was linking you to download a separate application, which is also kind of lame. But regardless, that's what that button does. And then we have Internet. Do you think this is a separate browser, or is this going to be Internet Explorer? It's just going to be Internet Explorer. Okay, that's great. I'm not really confident that this next thing is going to be a custom paint program. It's probably just going to be MS Paint. Oh, okay. This is actually a full screen paint program. So, okay. So at least there's one thing in here so far that actually opens up in full screen and looks like a full touch UI. So we can do some painting here. Maybe, can we not? We could probably got to select. Oh, we're not even on a new. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we can, you know, we can draw and do, you know, whatever. So here's your test of, you know, how well it's able to keep up with the touch input. It doesn't do a terrible job. That actually kind of saved this whole interface for me, because when this opened up Internet Explorer, I was like, this is going to open up MS Paint. I'm glad that it didn't. Now, what do we have for games? Does this just bring up the Games Explorer? Oh, it's the Games Explorer. Isn't that so much fun? Yeah, that is the entirety of this custom touch UI interface, aside from the settings, I guess. What do we have in here? We have show duo stage when entering tablet mode. That's the only setting that you probably want on, or maybe not, because this interface is kind of lame, and it's not customizable, so you can't add, like, I mean, you can scroll here, but there's no way to like add anything to it. There's not a plus button. This here is just the UI like from Windows to get access to the keyboard. So we don't need that at the moment. But yeah, like you can't really, I mean, you can do that. You can hold to like right click, but right clicking doesn't do anything. So yeah, I don't think you can add stuff to it. That's kind of lame. But we're not done yet, because I do want to take a look at the Microsoft Touch Pack for Windows 7. So this is a set of, it looks like, 6 applications. Now I haven't really looked into this a whole lot, so I don't know if these are games or utilities, a mix of both, or just things to show off that you could use Windows with a touchscreen. But we're going to go through all of them here. So the first one is Microsoft Blackboard. Select a level. Okay, this is definitely a game. Cool. So we got some things, we got some gears, a balloon, and are we drawing stuff on the screen? Like, what are we doing? What do we hit play? What does that do? Okay. I think we're supposed to make something. Is the balloon supposed to be captured or something? Can we add stuff to, yeah, so we can add things to the screen. Yeah, so that's a fan. So that's not what we want. What do we have to do? Let's just go to the main menu. Help. Alright, that's cool. There's no built-in help. It's on a web page that is non-existent anymore, so we just gotta figure this out. I mean, I could pop it into the Wayback Machine and pull up the instructions that way, but let's just try to figure it out. I just realized we were on level 3. Let's go back to level 1. This might explain stuff. Okay, yeah, this is a bit of a tutorial. So we're gonna move this up here, and then swing it around, and hit play. So it'll push the balloon. So we have to get it up to the... Yeah, okay. So we have to get it up to the light bulb. So, alright, yeah, when you start on level 1, that at least makes it a little bit easier for you to actually know what you're supposed to do. So this is just going to tell you exactly, like, where to put all this stuff. So we'll go here. Alright, well, this time it's not a balloon, so I guess the object you're trying to move around changes every single time. Or maybe not every single time, but... Yeah, so it's slowly moving down here, and then is this gonna actually work? Yep, so it'll roll down and get into the light bulb, and there we go. So that's fun, you know, a fun little puzzle game that you've got. And next up is Garden Pond. So this sounds like it might be more of a demonstration thing. I think that one of these two, either the Garden Pond or the Surface Lagoon, is like the pond application where you can tap and like splash in the water and stuff. But this does look like a game because we have a play button. So let's see. One player. Select a game. The village. Collect as many flowers as you can. We have the gate, the bridge, and the castle. Let's just go with the village, I guess. Alright, so it's telling you to tap on the screen to do stuff. So there's our boat. So we have to, like, what is it? You tap, like, around it to move it, I think. Yeah. So there it's moving. And then we got to go up here and collect the flower. I think you have to keep just rapidly tapping like this, right? You don't just, or do you, can you hold in the water? That's going way off over here though. I mean, you got 4 different games in here, right, that you can do? And then Microsoft Rebound. Oh boy, what is this? Let's just hit play and find out. Okay, yeah, so I think you're supposed to, like, because this is a computer over here controlling his. So you're supposed to move both of these around to create like lines, you know, to move the ball around and try to get it in the other side because he just scored on me. Okay, he's launching it. All right, I was able to get it back. And I think he just scored on me, right? Yeah, his score is 3, my score is 1. So let's go like that. Okay, so that's what you're kind of supposed to do. So I just scored there. But that's not really easy on this touchscreen. I don't know, just the way, like, it doesn't really... Yeah, I think that's just this touchscreen. I mean, we can try it again. So you want to keep them close together like that. But yeah, you can see how it sometimes has trouble, like, keeping up of where I'm at. Like that's definitely a bit of a delay there. So, but that's a fun game at least. Let's see if these other 3 are games. We have Microsoft Surface Collage. Now the Surface name here, oh yeah, this is definitely the old original Microsoft Surface, not the modern tablet that we have today. This was that huge table computer that had that massive touchscreen, and I think that this was one of the applications that they kind of demoed on it. I know that pond application or that lagoon, whatever it is, if that's the application I'm thinking of, it's definitely, or at least based on at the very least, the one of the applications they use to demo on those big Surface table things. But this one, yeah, you know, you can make like a collage out of it. So you got a bunch of photos down here. You can pinch and zoom in and, you know, resize them to whatever you want. And we can drag new ones on. And you can make like a nice little thing here. You can stack them on top of each other and do whatever. And then you could go down here and save it as a picture. Pretty basic, but pretty fun, you know, little thing there. You could make cool stuff with it, I guess. And then Microsoft Surface Globe. I'm guessing these 3 are going to be more like utilities. In fact, they all have the Microsoft Surface name, so they're a part of this software suite. And so this is like a touchscreen globe. Oh my gosh, that is very laggy there coming in. Okay. And so you could put in like an address. Let's just do maybe, I don't know, New York. Let's see if it gets it just from that. I can't connect to virtual Earth. Oh yeah, because the servers probably don't exist anymore. Yeah, this is definitely the laggiest application that I have used so far on this thing. It is having trouble keeping up, and also the fan is like at max speed. It's been that way this whole time since we've had this open, so yeah, I mean, it's not liking this too much. But yeah, so it's like a, you know, Google Earth type application, although you can't search for a destination anymore. But you can spin the Earth around and zoom in and stuff, and you know, that's kind of cool, I guess. And then let's see if this is what I think it is. Okay, so it's a screensaver. We do have some settings. So you can change the number of fish. You've got a sound volume. You can use a custom background photo if you want. Your computer does not have the necessary system requirements or resources available for the Lagoon screens. Then why is it on here? What? Maybe this pack was installed by the user? Maybe it didn't come with the laptop? I mean, it doesn't mention it on the spine of the box. It doesn't say that it comes with the Microsoft Windows 7 Touch Pack. But yes, we can't even use it. That's hilarious. Okay, can we change, are there any, like, resource settings we can modify? Maybe lower the number of fish down to 0? Yeah, it's not gonna run at all. Okay, cool. So we can't even use the Lagoon screensaver. But yeah, even though this is a screensaver, it is interactive. So you can like tap on the water and mess around with the fish and stuff, and it wouldn't just quit and go back to the desktop. There was like an X button up here in the corner to quit out of the screensaver. So yeah, that is the Microsoft Touch Pack for Windows 7 that may or may not have been pre-installed on the Inspiron Duo here. But there is one more thing to cover, because we still got to take a look at the speaker accessory for this thing. So just as a refresher, this was sold separately. It cost about $100, and let's go ahead and crack it open and see what you would have received. I must say, I was quite surprised to find this one apparently brand new in the box. And yeah, that definitely looks brand new in the box. By the way, this does increase your port selection by a fair bit, as you can see. And on this side here, we've got your volume controls as well as a mute button. And then I don't think there's anything else on the other side. Yeah, so we'll just go ahead and flip it around. Now this will also charge the laptop when you have it docked in here, assuming that the battery is still good. The one in here is long dead, as you can probably imagine. It does not hold a charge anymore. So I went ahead and turned it off and unplugged it from its regular power adapter. And now we'll go ahead and put it into here. And there we go, we get a light down there on the bottom right corner. Well, holy cow, has this thing really just slowed down. I mean, it switched away from the arrow theme. It's not letting me change back to it. And yeah, I'm trying to open up msconfig in the start menu, and the start menu's freezing up. There's just like... it is not liking what's going on right now, and all I did was log in. So I think what I'm going to do is go into msconfig and try to like turn off some of the startup applications. That is if I can get into it. Okay, well, that took quite a while. I had to restart the computer, and it took like forever to turn back on. But now we get this interface that asks us what we want to see when we dock the laptop. So we can have no change, and just, I guess it would bring up that regular touch interface we saw before. And then we have photo frame and dock clock. So let's see what the photo frame is. Okay, so it plays through some photos, and this is a really dim, like... Like, why is this so dim? Like, it's not the brightness of the computer being low. But yeah, it just goes through all your photos, and I'm trying to find the options, like maybe under settings. Oh, here, it's over here in the corner. Okay, so we want to click on this, and yeah, turn that up so you can actually see everything. So yeah, this is like a custom interface for when you have it docked. And then I saw in the settings down here, you can change it over to the dock clock. Let's get out of this. Let's see if we can just relaunch that. I think it's this Duo Station program here in the start menu. Okay, well, that just is not coming up. Do I have to just redock this thing? Please dock your device. Okay, that's cool. So it's it's not recognizing that it's docked. I also can't click OK or cancel. Also, it took a good like 5 minutes for this application to open back up after clicking on it. Like, this system is just being really, really slow right now. And I think this is just frozen. Like, it's not doing anything. I did just close out of it and reopen it, and you can see it is here running under processes, but we don't have a window yet, so we're just gonna sit here until it comes up. Alright, well, there's a clock program in there. It also does alarms. I saw in the program files there was an alarms folder that had different, like, MP3 or, you know, whatever audio files in there. So, yeah, you could use that if you can get the program to actually open up because, yeah, it's just really slow for whatever reason. And I did try when that message came up and said to, like, you know, dock the thing. I did plug it in here, undocked it and docked it, and then unplugged it so it wouldn't just die. And yeah, that didn't do anything. The program just it was frozen. I had to end the process, try to relaunch it, and well, I mean, I've sat here for a while and just can't get it to start up again. And now Windows Media Player is not responding. Isn't that great? Alright, I'm starting to think that the hard drive is failing in this computer because now, like, I got out of Media Player, trying to go into music here to get to the audio file again. And it's now not responding, trying to load that. It loaded it totally fine before, so... Alright, I was able to double click on the MP3 again, and we're here in Media Player, and it is just giving us the loading cursor. Okay, it started responding again. The play button is grayed out, so... What just happened? Show list. Okay, here's the... yeah, here it is. And it's not playing. Can we right-click play? What is... maybe remove it from list? Can we go back into File Explorer again? Music? Oh, and it's not responding again. I'm starting to think that the hard drive is going bad in this because, like, I feel like we shouldn't be having this amount of problems with just trying to play an MP3. I mean, look at how long it's taken to load this folder here. But here's the thing. Even if all the slowdowns we're experiencing right now are because the hard drive is failing, and under normal circumstances it would be pretty fine to use, I still feel like all of the touch-centric features that this thing has are pretty gimmicky. There's not really anything that I personally would see myself using or wanting on a tablet if I was in the market for one at this time. I mean, keep in mind, this thing cost $50 more than the base model iPad. If you were looking for a tablet experience, you were going to get a miles better one on the base model iPad. Now, this thing does run a full desktop version of Windows, but it's a desktop version of Windows that is not meant to really be used on a tablet. Yes, there are, like, the Windows 7 Touch extensions installed and everything, but you're still not going to really have the greatest time going through and, like, using Internet Explorer because there's no, like, touch-based full-screen web browser on this thing. Now, as a laptop, it's basically a netbook with netbook specs, and like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, you could get a better laptop from Dell for cheaper at this time. So if you wanted to get a laptop, you would probably be better off doing that, or of course buying one of the many other models available from other different manufacturers. I think that what they tried to do here, while it was maybe well-intentioned, is poorly executed. Because they're basically taking a netbook and trying to slap on a couple of tablet features, and it just doesn't really work well in the end. And you can see here, this entire time I've been talking, we're still trying to load up this frickin' audio file in Windows Media Player. So I'm going to probably take a look at this thing and see if the hard drive is indeed dying, and maybe put an SSD in this thing, and we might try to revisit this in a future video, put Linux on it or something like that. That might be kind of a fun project. I also want to give a huge thank you to a viewer named Cameron for commenting this on my Kobe Android tablet video, because when I read this comment, that's what kind of made me look this up and buy it and the dock here, because I thought it would be kind of a neat thing to demonstrate. So thank you for the suggestion, Cameron. And a huge thank you to all of you guys for watching. Definitely be sure to let me know if you'd like me to do some experiments with this in a future video, because we could certainly do that, and like I said, put Linux on it, or maybe a newer version of Windows. I mean, maybe Windows 8 on this thing? Do you think that would be better than Windows 7? I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. It'll definitely benefit from an SSD, though. So that is pretty much going to wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, maybe consider becoming a patron or a channel member to get early, sponsor-free access to these videos before anybody else. But either way, as always, I will see you all in the next video.